Classy Mom kitchen. Right here. It's nothing like having a hot bowl of good soup on a cool harvest day. Kind of reminds me of being in my granny kitchen when I was a little girl. If you want to know how I made this low point, yes, I said it, low point cheesy potato soup, stay tuned. Welcome back to Classy Mom. I'm so happy that you're able to join me today in making another video. Well, I started Classy Mom Kitchen introduction on this past Thursday, and so now we're here at the first episode, first season of Classy Mom Kitchen, in cooking meals and prepping meals for Weight Watchers friendly and low carb meals and keto friendly meals for just not me, but for my family as well. And so on today's episode, I was so inspired by Pound Dropper, which I left that website on my introduction video, but it is www.pounddropper.com. I was so inspired with some of their low carb meals and low point meals that they have on their site. Since I started Weight Watchers, you know, I needed to find more meals that I can prep for myself and for my family. And so going on to www.pounddropper.com, I was able to find this the best low point creamy potato cheese soup recipe. So on today's episode, that is exactly what we're going to be getting into. We're going to be actually making a low point creamy potato cheese soup. And these are the ingredients that is consistent to the soup on today. So the first ingredient that I use to prepare my soup are the Yukon potatoes. They're the golden Yukon potatoes. I actually take 6 of them, and that's what I use to start preparing my soup. So we're going to start cutting up the potatoes now. So I basically cut my potatoes in half, and then I dice them so that they can go into the pot. I don't like to scrape my potatoes, so I just dice them up into small dices. You can dice them up as small as you want them to be diced up. I just decide to dice them up medium chunk size, and once I dice them up into medium chunk size, first I peel my potatoes. That's the first thing I do. I peel my potatoes, and then I wash them once I peel them, and then I go into dicing them up. So I'm already diced up a couple of them off camera, and then I'm going to finish dicing up these 2 potatoes, and then I'm going to wash them again just to make sure that after cutting them everything is clean and look good. Once I'm done dicing these up, I'm going to go ahead on and wash these potatoes, and then we're going to get into cutting up our onions. So I went on and diced my onions off camera because me and onions are not the best of friends. And I can recall when I was growing up as a little girl, and we would help my mom prepare meals in the kitchen, and the onions was the one ingredients that I did not want to cut or mess around with, because it always had me crying, and I mean seriously crying. My eyes feel like they get to swelling up, and I just look a mess. So no, I did not want you guys to see what I look like cutting onions. So I went on and diced 1 medium yellow onion off camera. So now we're going to get ready to start putting this in the pot and start cooking. So we're preparing to start sauteing the butter and the onions in here. So I warm up my pot, and then we add in 1 tablespoon of Land O'Lakes light butter with canola oil. That's the first thing we're gonna do. I'm gonna have my pot to kind of be on light at first. I don't want it to, I'm gonna have it on medium. I don't want it to be on nothing but medium, but I'm gonna melt the butter. And you can choose to use whatever butter that you want to use. I'm just using the Land O'Lake light butter with canola oil because this is a light, a low point. So that's what I'm choosing to use. Then we're going to add the onions because we do have to add the onions into here. So I'm going to put the onions in here. And remember, we have to have the one medium yellow onion. So I'm going to put this in here and I'm going to let these saute and get cooked up so that our onions can be nice and brown and sauteed. You can also have your onions as small as you want them to be. I just decided that I wanted my onions to be a little bit more chunkier since this is a soup and I want to be able to taste the onions in here. So I decided to have mine just a little bit more chunkier than what they are. The normal size, I would say. Now that my onions are nice and soft and clear, I'm going to add in 1 tablespoon of garlic. You can have either the 3 clover minced garlic or just 1 tablespoon of the garlic that's already been minced, and that's what I'm going to actually use on today. I'm going to add that. I'm going to let it cook for like 1 minute. And then we'll be adding in the next ingredient. And it smells so good. I don't like the way onions smell or the way it makes my eyes feel when I have to peel them. But sauteing them and cooking them in my meals, it's the best, you guys. So I'm going to let this cook for 1 minute. And then we'll be adding in the rest of the ingredients. So now that our garlic and our onions are sauteed and they smell good and they look good, we're going to add in the potatoes next. So here's my diced potatoes. I'm going to add them in. These are 6 Yukon diced potatoes that I'm going to add in. And then I'm also going to add in my 4 cups of low sodium chicken broth. Adding in next. With that, also I'm going to add in 2 cups of unsweetened almond milk, or your choice of milk that you want to. We're doing almond milk because we're trying to make this low point as much as possible. And then we're going to add in some salt. So you can add in about 1 1/2 tablespoon of salt. I am going to be using the sea salt shaker, which is like one of my favorite sea salt, the pink sea salt one. I'm going to be using in that. And then I'm going to be using the 1 1/2 tablespoon of the black peppercorn pepper, which is really one of my favorites as well. So I really doesn't do like a big measurement. I just kind of put it in here like this. This is the salt. And then I just kind of add in my pepper the same way. I like the grinder that comes with this. Just make sure that it's enough season in here. Just put it all over the soup. And then once I add in that, I just make sure that it is stirred up really good. So I stir it up. This is what your soup's supposed to be looking like. Make sure it's stirred really well. I'm going to bring this soup to a bowl, and then I'm going to cook these until the potatoes are tender. So I'm going to cook these at least about 10 minutes, and then I'll be back, you guys. So the soup has finally come into a boil. The potatoes and the onions and the chicken broth, the milk is finally coming to a boil. It smells so good, you guys. Just the sound of hearing that, it sounds good and it smells so good. So I'm going to continue to let this boil for about another 5 minutes with the lid on top of it, and then we'll be back to start assembling everything together. After cooking the soup for like 10 minutes, now the potatoes are very soft, and we're going to actually remove the soup from the stove, and we're going to start the next process of this. So the next thing we do, we take 5 cups of our soft potatoes and our soup, and we actually put it in a food process. I'm going to actually put mine in my NutriBullet because we have to puree the potatoes because we want the potatoes to be soft. So you take 5 cups from out of the pot while it's still hot, and you use whatever food process that you have for your next step. So I'm going to use my NutriBullet to actually puree the potatoes that needs to be pureed. So I'm just going to put it in here, and I will actually play some music on this part so that you don't see how loud this is. So as you can see that the potatoes has now been pureed. No more chunkies in here. It's really soft. I'm going to actually repeat this one more time to put 5 cups in here, and I'm going to get this to be the potatoes to become puree. Once I get the potatoes to become puree, I put them back into the pot, and then we'll look at the next process for this. So after I puree the potatoes and onions, I'm going to put them back into the pot, and this is what it's supposed to look like. Real creamy and real soft, and it smells so good, you guys. My son came in here and he was like, oh, it smells so good in here. So this is what it's supposed to look like. So after I actually add this back into the pot, then it's time to add our favorite, the cheese, you guys. So then I'm going to add in about 1 cup of light cheese. You can add in whatever cheese that you want to. I decided that I was going to add in 1 cup of light cheese. This is made by Kraft. It is the fat-free cheese. I'm sorry, this is the fat-free cheese that I decided to add, and it's just a 1 cup of that. You can add in any kind of light cheese that you want to add in. You can add in this one cheese that Pounds Dropper recommend that you can add in is from Trader Joe's. It's actually called the Trader Joe's Life 3 Cheese Blended. You can add that in, but I just decided to do the fat-free because I am really trying to stick to my points. So I added in 1 cup of that. I'm just going to stir it until the cheese is finally melt. And I do have this down on medium because it has to be on medium. This is becoming creamy and it's looking so good. This is really coming together the way that I wanted it to come together, you guys. And I'm so excited to try this soup. The consistency is really nice. It's so creamy. Look at that. Just creamy and nice, and it smells so delicious in my house. So I just melt this. I just cook this or stir this until the cheese is melted, and it looked like the cheese have melted. Now I know in my family love cheese. They may decide to add in more cheese, but we're going to still try to stick to this to be low points. So once we have melted the cheese, we're going to turn it off. And we are going to now prepare to add our toppings. Now we're going to add in our soup in our bowl. So this is actually, if you're doing Weight Watchers, this is actually 5 points for freestyle. I have not did the one for anything else, but 1 1/3 cup of this soup is considered to be 5 freestyle on Weight Watchers. So I'm going to add in a little of bacon on top, just a little bacon on top, and then I'm going to add in some green onions. And I am about ready to take a bite out of this soup, you guys. I am ready to take a bite out of this soup. Now you can add extra cheese on top if you want to. I just have me some green onions, like scallops, and some turkey bacon that I actually fried up. I want to just taste this. So good, you guys. So thank you so much for tuning in and watching me today on my video on making my low point cheesy potato soup. It is so good. It's good for a perfect holiday, and it's also good for just a perfect day for the fall. But thank you so much for joining me. I'm gonna get into eating this soup. Until next time, see you next week Thursday at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Have a good one. Bye. So there you go, guys. You saw how I made the low point cheesy potato soup, and it's so good. My kids came into my kitchen and they was like, Mom, this soup smells so good. So you know I gotta be done with this video so they can go and eat. But thanks so much, you guys, for watching this video. If you like it, give it a thumb up. Hit the bell next to the subscribe button so you know when my next video is uploaded, which is next week Thursday at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Okay, don't forget, last but not least, don't forget, you do have to go and subscribe if you want to be able to see these videos. But until next time, I will see you in my next video. Bye.